Yeah, you have to hit go live and then it'll go live. Like right now. Like now it's live.
That's always a fun thing when you're trying to figure out the technical things to get your show going. It's been a very interesting weekend. Fun, funny,
Yeah,
funny.
yeah. We went live. We went live on Saturday night.
I know.
And we'll tell you more about that today, which is Tuesday.
That's right. We
Are you
couldn't.
ready?
Am I ready? The question is, Mr. Wamble, are you ready?
I'm always ready. Let's go.
Oh. Hey.
Hey. Okay.
Ow.
All right. It's about that time.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
you sound like in a minute I'm gonna need a sentimental.
That's right. That's right.
Oh my
In a
goodness.
minute, I'm gonna need a intro from Val to start the show.
And that's because Michael knows how to do the remix all the time. He does the remix all the time.
The
Welcome,
remix.
guys, to Interludes Extra Talk
I
on
invented the
Tuesday.
remix. Forget Puffy. I invented the remix.
Welcome to Interludes Talk on Tuesday, and we stream every week on our YouTube channel, our Facebook company homepage, Pure Lighthouse, home to Interludes, and we are now available on Pod TV Roku channel. Thank you, Mr. Lee. If you'd like to
Yeah.
become a sponsor on our platform, book time with us at linktr.ee/, Pure Light Media. I think we should just jump right into it.
All right. And of course, by jumping right into it, of course, you mean the wonderful thing that everybody was glued to. Of course, that had to be the big marquee. Oh no, it's Chris Rock. I heard of him. Apparently, he used to do comedy.
Yeah, he's done a lot of comedy, and I definitely will ask the chat, say good evening and blessings. We see. Thank you so very much, Daniel. Thank you for being here. I said we already said hello to Roxanne. Roxanne,
Uh,
bah, bah.
uh,
And Delana, thank you so very much. Good evening, good evening. And oh my goodness, it's Mr. Springer.
good evening now. Yeah,
Thank
Kevin,
you so much,
Kevin.
Mr. Springer. Kevin. But yeah, did how many of you saw Chris Rock Selective Outrage? Either live, and I think they just made it
All right.
available, Michael,
Oh, is it
like
streaming now?
yesterday. They
All right. Well,
just
all
made
right.
it
I'll see you later.
available.
All right. I'll see
What
you
was
later.
that? What in the what?
Oh wait, I'm back. I saw it already. Yeah. Okay.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Okay. All right.
Oh my
So streaming
goodness.
now.
It's streaming. So it's like the live to tape. They already recorded it, but I have to say, Michael and I had the wonderful privilege of seeing him here in
Yeah.
Chicago, there at that theater called the Chicago
Theater,
Theater.
which happens to be in Chicago, amazingly enough.
Obviously. And so we want to ask the audience who's watching us, how many of you saw Selective Outrage? Because it wasn't that title when we saw it back in October, right?
No, it was ego death.
Eagle Death Tour.
It was the
That's what I
death of
thought.
his ego.
Well, and you know what? Kevin said that he saw it.
Good. Okay. He is among the the gazillions probably that got to watch this man come out just like he's going to a Puff Daddy show. Fun.
So I was able to grab a couple of pictures. Now because of copyright, we can't we're not can't we can't stream any of the actual the footage or whatever. But what I will say is it was good to have a pre-show and an after show, and some of the comedians that came just before the actual presentation of Chris
Yeah,
was
we're comedians that actually came before Chris,
our
like Arsenio
comedians.
Hall, who preceded him,
Arsenio.
both on the stage, but also as a late night talk show host, which is
Mhm.
one of the things that
Mhm.
some people forget about Chris Rock. They remember Arsenio Hall, woo woo woo
Mhm.
woo woo woo, but Chris Rock also had his own late night show on HBO for several years. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and there was a few others. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was there, one of our favorite actresses from Insecure, who's also a stand-up comedian.
hmm
Nicole, Orgy,
Yvonne.
Yvonne Orgy. I had to just think about her name for the Yvonne Orgy, and then of course this
That's how I
guy,
remember her name. It's like, how would I like to see her? Anyway, yeah, and there's also Dana Carvey. Yeah.
Harvey, right? So a lot of folks,
So
they were
who's
at the
that
comedy.
special?
They were at the comedy store shooting the pre and the after. Wasn't that correct? No,
That's right.
nope.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. So they were in Los Angeles, where you would think this special would have been filmed.
I-
However, it wasn't.
so
Ooh.
I have to say, Michael, and we did a lot of breakdown of this
We
almost
did.
immediately right after the show. We went live on
We did.
this. We did, and I have to say, Michael, we're up to almost 400 views.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
Mhm.
so we did. Yeah, Gardis is he saw it. It was all right. It was not his best work, but all right.
Mhm.
Yeah, so about that. And,
About that. What do you
and I
say?
don't disagree with you, Gardis. Of course, we agree on many, many things. I don't disagree with you on that. If you're saying that is not his best work, that something like Bring the Pain was better in terms of Chris Rock shows. Yes, okay,
Okay.
but
Mhm.
Bring the Pain is probably one of the best uh, comedic concerts I have ever seen. So I don't know if you gonna get. I mean, there's certain people where you may get the best for them at that time, and I think
Mhm.
right now this is the best for Chris at this time. What has changed, what I did notice, Val the Voice, since you and I went on Saturday night and did a kind of like almost immediate response to
Mhm.
it, is some of the delayed response from people, especially people younger than us, different generations, millennials, and such, has been a lot more critical
Mhm.
of Christopher Rock. Um, they don't like exactly what he's saying. They make comparisons between him and other comedians, which I think are kind of sloppy. Some of them comparing him to Dave Chappelle, which I think is borderline racist and sloppy, even though they are black
Wow.
doing it. And I
Mm.
just, I mean, I think there's a generational thing that is happening here. I think originally when we were talking on Saturday, seemed ageist, some of the immediate criticism. They talked about him being like an old man yelling on the lawn, and I didn't take what he was saying as that at all. But
Me neither.
I can see a generational break between what he's doing, what he's saying, and the response from audiences, and it seems like it cuts across race and ethnicity. It's almost a generational difference in how people saw what they saw.
Yeah, and so ultimately everyone was trying to wait until he got to the as they call it, the
Yeah,
elephant in the room.
yeah.
Uh, Will last week accepted an award. Next to him is Antoine Figueroa, the director that
Oh, I thought
directed
that
him
was
in
his
the.
bodyguard.
No, it's not his bodyguard. That's the
That was
director of the
that
film.
he steps on the stage not to, because of the
Yeah,
environment he's created. He needs to also have a bodyguard. But I guess not.
right. Yeah, so we'll release some video of him accepting the
Now, now,
award
now,
and
now slow down about the voice. So you telling me Will
mhm,
Smith went somewhere other than the NAACP Image Awards, which gave him an Image Award? He couldn't show up for that, but he's showing up for what is this? This Val, I know it's not you. I know it's this picture. This picture
mhm.
looks like a '90s R&B video. Don't you? Couldn't you see like Silk come out in the background,
Tell
or like
me what you
S?
want.
Or maybe Drew Hill. I mean, that looks like a what? Where did he fall into? Like that's like a Melissa Shelton R&B video from the '90s. It's got the lighting. Uh, uh, where are they? What's with
So
that pink curtain? Where
so
are
the
they?
so according to Variety
What is that?
magazine, according to Variety magazine, Will Smith accepts his award, and this is his first in person award speech since 2022, and this is the African American Film Critics Association Awards.
Okay, so
So
he showed up for them, but
he showed up for them, and
for
this
regular
was
black people, he couldn't be bothered. Okay, all right, no, no diss. It's
yeah,
just
but
facts.
yeah, but the one of the reasons why I wanted to make sure that I showed this was that Chris's
Tell
comedy
me
that
what you want.
we
I'm sorry, that picture is just like straight R&B picture. For real,
okay.
that looks like it looks crazy. Picture. Let's go back to that picture. I just want to see it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So, Michael,
Video
let me
soul. That's VH1
okay.
soul, man.
Can
What
I get this
song
out?
would
You're
he be
funny. You're
singing?
funny. Let me get this out. Let me get this out. So,
Tell
the
me what
reason
you
why I
want.
decided to show this
Tell
one was
me
because
what you
one
need. Uh huh.
okay, good lord. Let
That
me take the
picture.
picture.
What
Let me
is
take the
going
picture off
on with
the
that
screen because it's
picture?
distracting Mr. Wamble here. It is
I mean, it
distracting you
just
like
looks like he just
crazy.
stepped out off the set like he's about to go talk to SWV, maybe Brownstone. I don't know, is Brownstone back there?
I don't know.
Woo!
If you got a chance to watch
Hope not climax.
if you got a chance to watch Selective
Still snapping
Outrage,
back. Hmm.
go ahead and place it in the chat. Tell us what you think. We really want to hear what you think because we really gave our first impressions
Yeah,
with
we
our
did.
live when we went on Saturday. But one of the reasons why I showed that picture, the R&B 90s picture that
R&B
Michael was saying,
90s fixes.
that's what I captured with my phone.
Don't
This is
walk
what happened.
away.
Chris Rock made a comment. He made not a comment, but he made a joke about emancipation and how he was rooting for Master to beat Will
Yeah,
because this a lot of his rage came out. And
yeah.
how I kind of termed it is that Chris, when we saw him in October,
Yes.
a lot of the jokes that were done, this is almost a kind of a repeat of what we said Saturday. A lot of the jokes,
Advancing it.
especially in the beginning, they
Yep.
were some of the jokes we already saw. So Michael, I was thinking, I remember that joke, or I remember how that joke went. But then when he talked about Will back in October, it was I'm not going to be a victim, and he
Yeah.
went into that
I think he
prima.
helped to that. I think he helped pretty well
He
to that.
definitely, he definitely, he definitely held to that. Thank you so much, Mr. Springer, for putting that in the chat. And so this time he mentioned it, but then he went to another section or another part of his routine. And then when he came back,
Yeah,
the
it was
drugs were
glass
out.
onion for real. It was glass onion. And by glass onion, I mean knives out for sure.
And and the person who got gutted the most was not Will.
It was the
It was
catfish.
it was don't do that. It was Jada.
Why catfish don't have that much hair either. They losing their
Oh
hair,
my
right?
good gracious! So you now you're gonna have Will try to knock you out because you didn't said something
Nah,
about his
I'm too
wife.
fast for Will. I mean, you would think Pookie will move faster than that, you know.
No,
But I'm
no.
pretty fast. I mean, Pookie cracked up. He could have like he be dodging. You know how they like dodge trying to cross the street. You would think that would have happened, but that didn't. He just stood there and took that punch. Man,
Yeah. So we
marvelous.
So a lot of people are saying, can we get past this? That's the number one thing. Everyone
Yeah.
wants to know,
Yes.
can we
Yes.
get past it? And this is my thing. I would love it. We don't have to know about it. It could be definitely behind closed doors that Will and Chris have a come to Jesus moment, because literally when
Or
someone
come to
I heard
Roscoe
earlier today
or
said that
Sylvia.
what
I don't know.
happened with Chris talking about Jada and all that he got out was kind of like black on black crime. Like he was like, look, this is me, this is my time to express all I was talking about, and let me get it out, 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 out. I
Man,
am
that was not black on
tired.
black crime.
Well, anyway.
I know what you're saying, but no.
Mhm. Okay.
And is this a distraction? That's the other thing that I've heard constantly from my
What have you heard
activist
constantly?
friends and people around. This is a distraction. You talking about Chris Rock when you should be talking about the fact that these white Republican administrations, like in Mississippi and in Missouri, are trying to take away the rights of black mayors to have actual rule of government. They're trying to
Mhm.
precede them. And it's even happening in DC where the federal government is trying to take over for that. I can walk and chew gum. Hi, hi. I can walk and chew gum. I can
You
talk about
can?
that.
I
Yeah,
didn't know you
I
could
can
do
talk
that.
about the travesty going on, the Jim Crow ish
Mhm.
fallback that's happening in Jackson, Mississippi. Jackson, Mississippi, y'all. I mean, talk about a city under much attack. From the fact that they didn't have real water to the fact that Dion
Mhm.
abandoned them, now to the idea that the governor of Mississippi is trying to take away the people from having their own ability to self-govern and protect themselves, like they're infantile, like they're children. We can talk about that as well as talk about the fact that Chris Rock went after Will Smith. We can talk about one rich black man talking about another richer black man. We can do two things at the same time. We can talk about the mayor of St. Louis, and how power is being usurped there by the legislature in Missouri, which is predominantly white and Republican. They're trying to take this power away from this black woman, this accomplished black woman. We can talk about all of that, as well as the fact that Chris Rock went after Will Smith. He waited a whole year. A whole year. Talk about the patience of that. I mean, that's got to teach somebody something. We always talk about people in their instant gratification. There was no instant gratification with that. That man had patience and he used it, and he used it effectively. And I'm
And
sorry if you millennials have problems with what he said and how he said it. I had zero problems with it. And when he dropped the mic, what he said, I've heard people say, "Oh no, you can. Why would you say that? That's not true." And as Val said, that's black on black crime. He did all that talking, and now he's going to say that he's not going to fight him. Yes. Do y'all know what a fight is? A fight is two people with their hands going. A fight is how Money Mayweather made his living. That's a fight. Okay. What Chris Rock does is he's a comedian and he uses words.
his
And you
words
think that words hurt, then you miss the whole of his concert,
of
which
his
is the
of his of his
idea
thing, or what he
that
said.
words don't hurt you, but somebody coming across your face with all five fingers,
And
that
speaking and,
hurt.
and speaking of fighting, and speaking of fighting,
Woo!
I gotta hurry up and transition. If you guys
Dun,
want to
dun,
hear
dun, dun,
more of what, if
dun,
you
dun,
guys want to hear
dun,
more of what we
dun,
said about the
dun,
Chris Rock outrage, please check out our breakdown of it back in Saturday. But
Them brothers is having fun. Them brothers is
okay,
having fun.
I
That's a
want you,
knockout, right?
oh, Michael. See who posted this, and this was a congratulations to both. You see who posted it?
Yeah, Ali
You-
posted it. I see.
Oh my gosh. But I thought this was a cool picture that he posted, and he was like, Creed 3 has knocked out. It's now done 100 million global opening international box office. So this is the directorial debut. I'm totally turning now from the whole thing. And Creed, I got a chance to watch it. I got a chance to see
Yes.
it in theaters.
Tell us all about them strong, muscular black men with no shirts on and little shorts hitting each other and the sweat flying and the peoples, and then they get locked up. And tell us all about it, Val.
Okay, well, well, see, this is the thing that a lot of women are all whining and swooning over both Michael B. Jordan and
Yeah, they
Jonathan
like forget
Majors.
Magic Mike. Let's go see Creed 3, huh?
Exactly, exactly. But I have to say the story that's generated between between the two boxers, and it was very realistic. It's now 3 or 4 years after the Creed 2, that sequel, and now we have a baby daughter who is now about 6 or 7, and she's deaf. But the one thing that I will say is that I could see definitely how both of the actors trained for this role. And guys, if you got a chance to see it over the weekend, Creed 3, go ahead and let us know in the
4%
chat.
body
But
fat, right?
exactly, exactly. But I was just Tessa Thompson, Michael B. Jordan, Jonathan
Jonathan
Majors,
Majors. There you go.
and yeah, and a couple I saw a couple other folks through there that just was really good. I need to get the name of the young lady that portrayed their young daughter, but it was a gentle story, and I'm
Uh-huh.
talking about it's kind of setting up that family
So he's a
thing, but
gentle
just
giant right there. That's a gentle
pretty
giant.
kind of the gentle giant, yeah. But I
Okay.
have to say, because I remember Michael B. Jordan from All My Children, Michael. I remember when he was a kid acting in All My Children. I'm dead serious about this.
I I remember it too, Val.
Yeah. So I can't swoon. And I can't even say he's young enough to be my brother. He's young enough to be my son. So I can't swoon over him. I'm so sorry. I can't. I'm like,
So if
baby,
he walks up to you and says, "Hello, Auntie," you like, nah, nah.
no, don't even call me auntie. Call me mama.
Oh, oh. Hey, that's a different thing. That sounds like an OnlyFans thing to me. I don't know about that. I think you
No,
got to
no,
pay
no.
extra to call you mommy.
But no, but of course, it's like a regular Rocky film, in that
Okay.
what definitely we're
Sylvester
happy.
Stallone comes up and loses.
The story setup is very similar, but all I have to say is that I truly enjoyed it, and I think this was a great first effort for this being Michael's first directorial debut,
Yeah,
and I
but that
know he
wasn't their
got
best
all
work
of his
together.
training from Ryan.
That wasn't their best work together. Yeah, yeah.
I
Give Ryan Coogler his props because
Mhm.
Michael B. Jordan as a director is a direct result of Ryan Coogler and his work as a director. Learned everything from him as well as the other directors he looked at. But that wasn't they biggest work this past week. That wasn't the work that went viral. Them two brothers. Mm.
Oh, you're talking about
I'm talking
the
about that other video.
them
Them two
looking
brothers in
at the
admiration.
female
Yeah, but
interviewer.
show it.
Yeah.
You ain't gotta say it. Show it. Can you show it?
I cannot show it.
Oh, you can't. Why not?
I did not grab the picture. I
See,
did
we got
grab
that
the
picture
video,
of
but
Jonathan Majors like looking like He Man, Black He Man right there. But we don't have no pictures of them brothers. Oh boy. So what I gotta describe it? Cause it went viral. It was
it
good.
did.
So
It did.
they're getting interviewed by some sister who is like if Jonathan Majors is 4% body fat, this young woman is 94% curved. Okay. So she's like a she all she is a pencil just keep curving. So she comes in and they're very nice to her. They're kind of
Mhm.
flirty to her. At one point you see Jonathan Majors kind of tap Michael B. Jordan on the leg, like, hey, pay attention. And they talk to her. And then when she ends the interview, she gets up and she exits out. And the way she exits out, all of her 94% curves go past the camera. And then once she exits, all you see is both of their heads completely turned in the direction that she just left. And they both give each other the very knowing look that I have seen throughout barbershops throughout most of my life. Like, mm. And you know who was more appreciative of that video than even Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors?
Who was that?
Pretty much all the black women that I saw commenting on it. All like 24,000 of them. Like, I didn't even know he liked that. Okay, well, it looked like I got a shot at this. Okay, so it ain't just that Lori Harvey stuff. Okay, all right, well, and then well, I got some cards, so you blah 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 blah. Like, wow.
Well,
I think that video will fuel them into their third and fourth weekend at number one. Because that was some mutual appreciation. That's what that video was. Mutual appreciation.
well, it just showed the two of them. They were enjoying the interview, and the person that was interviewing them.
In their hips
Oh
and
my
their
gosh.
thighs. Yeah,
Well,
all of them.
without further ado, guys, we're gonna swing it around, and we got a little sports thing happening. So I guess it's this time for this guy. Here we go.
Let me do them. Val, let me do those things.
I was in here ready to do the walk.
Yeah, you should. You should. Well, I was on watching, seeing if Cleveland State was going to take two teams into the tournament. Almost. But we'll talk about the other one that's going later, right?
Man.
That's called a teaser, y'all.
Ladies and
Bro, yes,
gentlemen,
we
it's
call that a
Coach
teaser.
Tony.
I just
It's
set up a
been
teaser. It was good.
it's been great, man. Been really good. You know what I'm saying? What's up, KS Springer? What's up, baby?
Was Coach Tony. Coach Tony. So apparently there was a concert that happened over the weekend. I don't know if you heard about it. It was I know you coach people with the rock and to shoot the rock, but Chris shot his rock on Netflix. Did you get a chance to see that?
Not really, man. We've been in tournaments all way. I didn't get a chance to get back home, but I am going to. I started watching a little bit of it. Didn't get a chance to get finished. Val and I talked about a little bit. The name of it was I can't even think of the name of it now.
Of the show?
Yeah, Chris Rock. What
The
was it?
selective outrage.
That's what I should have had this weekend
Yeah.
after I lost. I should have had selective outrage in the locker room. That's what I
Oh,
should
you
have.
did? Oh, did you? Did you? Okay. All right. That was one of them weekends.
That's what I should have. But I did get a chance to obviously catch a lot of bits and pieces of it. Of course, with Good Morning America and Gail, and they interviewed a couple folks talking about it.
Yeah, he
And
said he
the
won't
one,
talk to Gail. He said, I'm not going to sit down with Gail to talk about this. I'm no victim.
ain't nobody got time to do all that crying, man. Wipe
That's
them
right.
tears up.
That's right. He
Yeah,
got to go to Lululemon.
so right, exactly. And
I didn't know. I didn't know
get some of
Lululemon.
those and get some of them $100 yoga pants.
That's
I
right.
didn't know
He got to buy
I
them
didn't know
shoes.
Lululemon was such a big deal.
Hey, I told you,
Yeah.
Val. Yeah,
Hey,
You
I
he
want
got
did.
to.
them.
Chris got
They
to buy
got
them
the market.
shoes too. He got to buy them shoes and watch them shoes get modeled.
They got the market. They're like Eddie Murphy and Trade Play. They got the corner on lock. They
Yeah.
got the market on lock.
So you didn't get it. You
Yeah.
know they now just made it available on Netflix. Did you get a chance to watch any of the clips? Because now they're starting to show clips from the performance, and some of the lines that was so funny that I forgot. Hey, it's
Cannot
Selena.
be
She's saying hello,
repeated.
Coach.
Hey, Delana, what's
Not
up,
be
girl?
repeated. Oh, there you go.
Hey,
Fan.
the thing is that I started watching it, Val. It was so funny
Mhm.
because the crazy part about it was, you're on the road. So I had one of the kids' passwords and trying to watch it. And Netflix said, unfortunately, we cannot show this event because it is being filmed live. So I clicked on it and tried to get on it a couple of times, but because it said it was live, it wouldn't allow me to check it out. So again, I'm going to go back and take a look, and I think it
Right.
should be okay.
Well, we'll get back to that. We'll get back, But Coach Tony, in the words of some, Chris Rock, he shot his shot. Speaking of people trying to shoot their shots, John Moran, what's going on with John Moran, Coach?
He need to have selective on whatever he
I,
doing.
I got
So,
universal. I think there's universal outrage, not selective outrage, but
well, the
universal
crazy part of
outrage over John Moran.
here's the crazy part about the whole situation on that, Mike. You and I just talked about this 2 weeks ago with the situation with Sterling, and Club Shay Shay, right? So you would
Yes,
figure after Sterling called him out and let him know that you're not really
you're not a
a,
gangster.
a yeah, you're not really a South Side, West Side, 71st, Wild Hunters, West Side,
Ooh,
80
ooh,
low end
not
hood.
at
Yeah,
all.
I can go all the way down through the city, but that's not what you are. That ain't what you do, Mr. South Carolina guy. So
You are
he
not off
tried to
these
point that
fights.
out. But
Uh-uh.
because you now go surround yourself with these different people, right? It changes your mindset. Sometimes it makes people think, they are more than what they are because now they got to walk and talk that talk.
So,
So
so, so, just to reset, so some of y'all that don't know what we're talking about, a basketball player, Memphis Grizzlies star, superstar, NBA superstar, John Morant, arguably the future of the league.
correct.
All like 90 pounds of him. He, this bruh, comes out on his social media with a gun.
Hold on, Mike. Hold on, back. You got to back up. So you're gonna
Back
give
up
it
a
to
little
him.
bit.
Yeah, give it to him right. First of all, he ended up getting into a situation with a young kid who wanted an autograph, and the altercation came that happened down in the Memphis area.
A under
And so
17-year-old high school kid.
exactly. So then that happened with the situation that, of course, when that jumped off, the first thing these kids doing nowadays is this. Everybody's filming. So they got that situation. And when that situation happened, it kind of blew up because, the NBA, neither did the Grizzlies didn't really know what happened until, of course, the film and the footage came out. So the Grizzlies did the right thing. They stepped up, was going to suspend him. Then he gets on the road and go to Utah and then pulls a gun out and then he records it himself.
Right. Yeah, that's the crazy part is that you did this is a self-inflicted wound.
Right. This wasn't that Mike called me in the corner and he trying to take a selfie and trying to catch me. I'm
I'm
I'm doing it
showing
myself.
off.
Yeah, I'm doing it myself. After Adam Silver just did a humongous punishment a few years ago on the same thing, and now he's catching a raft of a lot of stuff because the Nike contract, right, and the juice drink and the other contract just came out. So Nike kind of said, we're going to still give it to them. We're going to pull it back and kind of restructure it. And the restructure is probably going to mean anything like this again, you out of here.
Well, I mean, what in the Washington Wizards was he thinking? That was the
Washington
dumbest.
Wizards?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
so
oh,
Val, so you
so
don't know about Gilbert Arenas. So
Gilbert
Val,
Arenas.
Ah,
Click click. Why do you do that? Especially, correct me if I'm wrong, Coach Tony. The Ja gets in this special position with these contracts and much larger than they had been because Kyrie Irving lost it because of putting out a link to a movie that's questionable at best. But
correct.
Kyrie didn't
And
pull a gun on nobody.
exactly, but he shot himself in his foot with his words. You know what I mean? So that's the crazy part about it. And I think you hit the key on the head and the nail on the head a moment ago, Mike. He, with the loss of Kobe, bless his heart, with the
Mhm.
retiring of LeBron coming up, the league has nobody. And he was the person that's the most exciting person in the league right now that everybody want to flock to.
Right,
So to
right.
do that at a situation where you're about to be basically handle the mantle and say, hey, young man, the door is yours. Now the league is going to build themselves around the Morant world. Now it's going to be tainted a little bit.
A little bit.
a
Because
lot bit.
because people on the outside, people that don't know, they're saying like, well, obviously, he needs to have more of these kids, they don't have a family structure. He stands with his dad. His
Correct.
dad's there all the damn time. In fact, his dad is and Shannon. That was part of the problem.
Exactly.
So so what so
Exactly.
so 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 what so what great advice is he getting from his father? What, hold a gun like this and not like this?
Right,
I
right. Because
hope
he was
not.
all
What's
up on it
going
I
like
on?
this.
hope not.
And then he was like, hey, check it out, check it.
I mean, the
I,
idea. I mean, God, I hope it wasn't loaded
And he
because
wasn't even
John
holding it right.
Morant's,
he
because
It
he
looked like
wasn't.
a
shot
toy gun.
himself. He
Yeah.
could have literally shot himself.
Yeah, he could have shot himself. He wasn't. It wasn't like he come on like the real thug. Like he up there, your head pointed at himself. I'm like, man, this thing go off, dude. Or you accidentally slip and drop it, you a goner.
No, yeah, exactly. He's holding it like an
Yeah.
amateur. I mean, I
So
don't want to get too far into
so
that.
I got a
Yeah,
chance. I
that's
got a
not
chance
you.
to
That's not
I
you.
got a chance to watch the video, and I was thinking, was he trying to show off, or was he just excited? I
He's
think it
trying to
was like
show
a nine
off.
Well,
millimeter.
Val, well, what kind of happens is this. So let's go
What?
once again with this. Let's make sure we take those right steps. So
Mm-hmm.
go back to the night with the incident with the kid. Then go back further than that with the incident when Shannon Sharp walked in the gym and Shannon called him out. I think what happened on that mic is when Shannon called him out and said,
Yeah,
"My
yeah,
man,
standing in that
yeah, you
yeah,
ain't
the
no thug."
grandma
Yeah,
sweater.
yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that sweater.
and that wonderful
Woo!
outfit he got. Hey, I'm gonna get me one of them, Val. I think I got the
I
jacket on the
don't
way.
like that
No,
Yeah,
please
sweater.
don't.
I
the
don't
Coach,
jacket
like
on
it.
his way,
coach,
Val. I'm gonna wear it on
coach,
the
you can
show.
find, coach, you can find that on Etsy. Please
Right.
don't. Please don't.
So when Club Shay Shay right there called him out, Val, and I think what happened on that, Mike, is that you know how that go when you shake a young man hard up. Now he got to prove himself. So he
Now,
went. Well,
coach, does any of this you think have to do with the fact that John Moran looks like he's like 60 pounds soaking wet?
exactly right. I think it does. And I think what
Okay.
happened was that night when Shannon called him out on the carpet, and then him and his old man kind of got into it, and that led to the next week. And then people started sending out tweets and stuff saying, "Man, you ain't want to mess with Shannon. You ain't want none of Shannon."
No,
It's
because
kind of like
Shannon could have lifted him and his daddy up in each arms and just like comic book kind of like knock
right,
their heads together and go
right.
like, "What are you all doing?"
Three Stooges, Larry Moore and Curly Star.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So when that happened, and you looking at a whole situation that happened, then what you're looking at with that is a situation that now I got to go out and prove myself. More importantly, I got to go out. I got to go out and be what Shannon said that I'm not. Right? There you go, Joanne. There you go, Joanne. The extra medium. Exactly.
That's the sweetest sweater.
Right.
Oh,
I
that's
don't.
Shannon Sharp,
I don't
homemade.
understand.
Your blind auntie sold that for you, so you gotta wear it.
You should
Exactly.
not have to wear that. That's
You don't have
embarrassing. Are we going back to the sweater? Should I show
Oh,
this
we went
again?
back to the sweater. It's
Oh,
sweater
good
weather.
gracious.
right.
Good gracious. The thing of it is, this
Yeah.
takes away from the game 110%. Why
Yeah.
are we paying attention to these things that's happening off screen? And my deal is, if you realize the privilege you have for playing for a team in the NBA, please don't film yourself doing stupid beep. Don't do it. Just don't film your, hey, look at me. I got a
They
gun.
can't
Don't
help
Right.
do
it.
that.
You got to take it. You got to take it one step further in this arena. And of course, my guests will talk about that as well. But in this arena, Val and Mike, it goes one step further because who watches these guys? My guys, my
Right.
college guys, high
Right.
school guys, and you wonder
Yes.
why that all these fights are taking place at AAU events in the summer.
No, I don't wonder. I don't wonder.
That-
I see. That's as you said. We see the reason why it happens. Now, the sad part about it is he's one person in a league of hundreds of players. So we look at
Mhm.
him. He becomes the bad actor. He gets all of the attention. You
Right.
lose attention from some of these other players doing
Right.
tremendous things that they do in the
Right.
community seemingly all the time. Some of them
Mhm.
stepping out, taking, very strong stances, doing charity when we're not
Right.
looking, when the cameras aren't on. It's just it's a self-inflicted wound, and it shows immaturity.
But
It
Vince
shows
Carter
the
said it the
level of
best.
immaturity.
And Vince Carter said the best. You know what he said about it?
He
Now, what do
said,
you say?
Everything that you just mentioned, Mike, I guarantee you, if every single thing and every team that you had in your head, and those people that you're talking about doing those good things, I guarantee you they were older veteran teams, and I guarantee they had at least one person over the age of 30. The Memphis Grizzlies is one of the youngest teams in the NBA, and their average age is 27 and a half. So they're all still kids. And like you said, even though Morant's supposed to be the leader in that locker room, he's still developing himself.
Yeah, but you know what? I hear you on that, and not to discount it completely, but you have sports like golf, and you have sports like tennis, and you have young people turning pro when they're 14, 15, 16. So you do have people out in the spotlight, earning lots of money in that way. They don't do that.
I get
There,
it, Mike, but you
there's
talking about
there's a level of peer pressure that happens in some of these sports that coach I know they're talented enough where they don't maybe need to be in college, and this is not to do that old argument, but I think they could benefit from not necessarily the athletic part of it, but just the maturity. You you it, a Kobe, a Kobe is a rare thing. A
sure,
LeBron is a rare individual who
sure.
has some maturity without the benefit of going to college.
But
I
who
think
learned?
people like you and other really outstanding college coaches, be they head coaches or assistant coaches, are the people that these young people need to be around so they can get that maturity. So when they do get that paper and they do get a camera or two in front of them, either from their phone or from some network, they know how to act.
All right. So that's a perfect transition to our guest. Coach, you want to go ahead and introduce our guest?
Like I said, Mike, what you said, I'm gonna let I guess is my foe. I struggle against her. She beat me down twice this year. I didn't like none of it, Val. I didn't like none of it.
Oh,
But I still had to shake hands at the end of the game, Mike. I couldn't be like Morant. You know what I'm saying?
All
So,
right. Well, please don't. Yeah.
exactly. It is none other than she's a selected head coach of the community college in the JUCO Region 7 here in Tennessee, where I'm at. Two times, that she's already won the conference with her girls. Only has a short stint, and that's what good work she's doing. She has had 3 seasons. She's already won over 15 games, 20 years of coach, a Hall of Famer from Northeast Mississippi down there in Mississippi. We're going to bring on none other than my cousin, Coach Evelyn Thompson.
All right.
ooh. And you're muted, Coach. You're muted. Let's hear you. Go ahead and unmute yourself. I see that it's
I
got
got
you
you.
muted.
There we go. All
Hey, hey,
right.
hey, Coach, that may have been a better introduction than you got all year.
Yeah, well, you got half of it wrong, but who? I mean,
But what about the half that's right?
the half that's right is the truth. So I can clean up this throughout the program. I'll clean up his mess as I usually have to do.
Yeah, that's all the
Coach
time.
Thompson, congratulations for making it to the tournament. Congratulations. Certainly, I was watching the men's program get real close tonight. Would have been great to have both of you there, but certainly want to congratulate you on that. Tell us, because I've never done that, what's that going to be like over the next couple of weeks, getting ready for the NCAA, the March Madness? What happens? What do these these student athletes do to prepare for that? What do you as a coach do to prepare for this?
Okay, so let me clarify a couple things. Okay, so the women's team, we're in. I'm at Cleveland State Community College, and
Oh,
Right.
community. Okay, community. All
right.
right.
We just had our
Hey, I'm
tournament.
promoting you, huh?
Right. Well, you and Tony. I mean, you don't. I mean, hey, he told me. And so no, we were in the semifinals on Monday, and
Okay.
we lost to
Okay.
Chat State, and so we're out. Our season is done. So now we're focusing on obviously getting an opportunity to rebuild for next year's team, and so that's what we're doing now, recruiting and all of those things. So we're looking for the perfect fits for our program right now. So I'm out, I mean, as you can see, I'm in the office. It's what time? 9:51 in the evening, and I'm still in the office trying to make it happen. So that's what we do when we chase success. We put in the time and we put in the effort. And so I'm here trying to make sure that Tony doesn't get any recruits and that I get all the games.
There you go, Coach.
You're
And Coach, some people are here to say hello to you.
Yeah.
Shakira.
Hey, oh yes, I see some of my players out here shouting out to me.
There
Hey,
you go.
ladies.
There you go. That's what's up. Hey, now the question on here, Coach Thompson, is it's so hilarious because we are celebrating the month of March and
Right.
celebrating women in sports, which is awesome. And we've had Gwen on, Michael and Val and I had a good time with her early in the
Right.
year and all that. And the question that I wanted to ask you, that you kind of set the tone for a lot of people that's looking, is that after you finish with your career that you had and the opportunity to go back into coaching, what really kind of clicked in your mind and said, hey, this is what I want to do. This is the career I wanted to have, go back and teach these young kids about the game of basketball?
Okay, so the answer to that question is that there were two things that I liked that I would never do, and I would never coach. And so that God has a great sense of humor. And so when I had the opportunity, I played at Auburn. I played at Northeast Mississippi first. Was an All-American there, won a national championship there, and then got an opportunity to continue there. Was a Kodak All-American in the Hall of Fame there. Also was able to then move on to Hall of Fame for the state of Mississippi. Then got an opportunity to go to Auburn and play, continue my playing career and education there. I was an English major and also got an opportunity to win 2 SEC championships and was national runner-up on the runner-up team twice. So basketball has been really, really good to me. And so I said to people that there was this issue of whether I was going to go play professionally or whether I was going to go straight into law school, because that was my intended profession, to go into law.
Wow.
And so I was sitting in the office with my coach and with a few other people trying to determine, because I had to have knee surgery. In the national championship game against Stanford, I actually ended up hurting my knee and had to have surgery. And so after the season, I had surgery, and then coming back, my knee wasn't well enough to go play professionally. And so I said, okay, well, I guess I'm going to law school, because those were my only two options, right? And so I walk out the office. I walk out of the office with my coach, and I'll take about 10 paces down the hallway. And hey, Des. And so I go about 10 paces down the hallway, and our administrative assistant comes out. She says, hey, Evelyn, you have a phone call. I'm like, listen, I am not in the mood to talk to anybody. And so she said, well, it's a coach. And I was like, all right, fine. So I go and I answer the phone, and it is Maura McHugh, who's at Arizona State. She's the head coach at Arizona State University. And that was one of my visits, and we had stayed connected through the process, even when, I didn't choose there and chose to go to Auburn and play, because she knew I wanted to chase a national championship. And so we still maintain that relationship. And so she says, hey, where have you been? And I was like, here. And so she says, hey, I need you to come out to Arizona. And I was like, okay, why? And she says, I have a position open, and I need you to come out here, and I need you to coach. And remember, the two things I said I would never do: I would never coach, and I would never teach. And so I was like, no, I'm not interested. I'm headed to law school, and so I'm good. And so she said, just come out here. And I forgot how good of a recruiter Maura, was. And so I said, okay, I'll come out and I'll check it out. And, then I thought, I'd satisfy her and I'd go about my way and become this, fantastic attorney and change the world and all these things. Right.
Right.
And so I got out there, and 2 weeks after graduation, I was at Arizona State as their recruiting coordinator. So I tell people all the time, I follow the purpose instead of the plan. And so it's been my purpose this entire time. And it has been my privilege to coach, the young women who are showing up on the broadcast to say hello. It has been my privilege, and it has been my purpose to teach these young women not only the game of basketball, but the game of life, because it becomes a lot bigger than game of basketball, especially and particularly when it comes to our children, our children of color. And so it is my job to move them from young women or girls and lead them into young women. And so that is my purpose, and that is my plan. And it is always to do that on the level of excellence and at the level of champions. And so I'm extremely proud. Oh, man, here y'all go.
Oh,
what?
Yeah. I had to catch it.
Here y'all go.
Coach told me to show this. Coach told me to show this. Coach Evelyn, I'm sorry.
Hey, Val.
when you see that, what do you think?
That's because she kept talking about she gonna beat me on one-on-one. That's why I said that.
Well, Tony, you already know what the deal is. You already know what the deal is. I break ankles and spirits.
That's why I love her. That's why I love her. Boy, I tell you. Hey, she wouldn't be a Thompson. She wouldn't be a Thompson downstairs. Something I tell you.
That's right.
Boy,
Tony,
hey.
do you have a picture like that?
I ain't got one like that one, but I'm gonna tell you.
Well, actually, no, I don't have it tonight. I wish I did.
Don't put it up. Don't go back and give an old school picture.
Because we are. I don't know if you know this, Coach Thompson. All of us graduated from the same college.
Yeah,
I
graduated from North
didn't
Central.
mention that.
Yeah, so we all been good friends for about 25, 30 years, Evelyn. It's been crazy as they got the podcast together. Val and I sit down and say, I want to launch the sports side of the house. I didn't give her a second thought. She came and interviewed me and I said, I'm in. You know, kind of like you. I was like, hey, I'm in. This is awesome. With opportunity to do some things.
And one of our guests in the chat, who's also been a guest host here, Coach G, he said, I love it. I break ankles and spirits.
That's right, Gerald.
Got him cracking up.
That's right, Gerald. That's right, Kevin.
And Wendy says that was way back.
Well, you know what? You know, the thing is, Wendy is actually one of my teammates. So she'll tell you. She'll tell you. You know.
And we actually have a question in the chat.
Okay.
Actually, that's from Michael. What's been your worst? You want to ask it, Michael?
Yeah. What's been your worst moment as a coach, and what's been your best moment? What's been that high? What's been that low? And let us in on what it's been like.
You mean today or like?
No, not just today. Not just today.
Right. I know what it was today.
You know, the life of a coach is like this professional roller coaster rider, right? And so it really is a life of highs and lows. And so for the low for me, because I really do, I'm in this frame of mind, and I try to teach this frame of mind as well to my young women, is that even the lows teach us something, and they're there for a reason. And so it's a learning point. That's an opportunity to learn, is how I always look at it. And so probably the worst part, let me think about that for just a split second. I think the worst part for me, or the worst experience for me, was probably, I know this for sure, and I hope I don't start crying. But it was when one of my players was killed in the mass shooting in Chattanooga. That was by far probably my worst experience as a coach, because when I bring these young women in, I bring them in as my children, as my family. And so I got the phone call about 6:35 in the morning, and they told me that she had been killed. And so I thought I was dreaming, but I wasn't. And so and I ended up having to, go to the service and those kinds of things. And that has to be, anytime it deals with, any kind of heavy impact, not necessarily on me, but the impact on one of my student athletes. I think those are probably some of the worst times that I've had as a coach, because I tell the parents when they come here that I will treat them as if they're my own. And I'm a mom. I have a son, Micah. And hey, Micah, if you're watching, so he, he's my pride and joy. He's a Brown graduate, and just a wonderful, young man, a wonderful, I love him. He's mine. And so, he's watched me grow as a coach. He's watched me grow. He's been in the gym with me more years than he probably would have, liked. But he was there with me along the journey as well. And so he's seen and he's experienced those as well, because when I bring them in, I bring them in obviously as my daughter, so that makes him, their brother as well. And so he feels that as heavily as I do when something happens to them as well. So he's not only there for the lows, but he's also there for the highs. And so I say God gave me all of these, gave me one son, but because God knew all of these women that I would have to mother. And so, so that's what I appreciate. The best fortunately for me, I get to experience the best moments of coaching all the time, because
Good.
those moments of seeing them accomplish something, something that they didn't think that they could accomplish, to have them come back and tell me about their children, or about getting married, or about a job that they had wanted to get, and they've had the opportunity to do that, to then go on and play at a different level and to be successful. One of my players called me today, and she is at Georgia Southwestern, and they're going into their championship game, and so they won their championship, and they're moving on in the tournament. And so those points of pride that I get to experience every day. And then also, hey mom, hey Micah, that's my son chiming in. Hey Micah.
And the grandparents listening too.
And also, I'm also, for everyone who will listen and everyone who can hear, I'm also about to be a GG. So my son and his partner Karina, they live in New York, and my grandbaby, she is due Adelaide. She is due April 27th.
We're gonna be together.
Nice.
I'm an April birthday.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Little,
So
little Taurus baby.
Listen, I have been waiting on this girl my whole life.
Right. That's why the family stays so tight, because what Coach just said, I can feel it. Just a few weeks ago, we just lost one of our ex players that played for herself, mental health. She accidentally, not accidentally, but she killed herself about 3 or 4 weeks ago. It was a tough toll right in the middle of the season. At the same time, I'm about to roll out my second one. Grandchild, another granddaughter, Evelyn, gonna be here the same weekend, April 22nd due date. So that's why we, right there together. So that's how we do it.
Yeah.
And the thing is it's so about you and Mike don't know. She's like this all the time. It ain't like tonight. She's like this all the time. So we have fun from the sideline to conversations and all that. And the thing that I wanted to know, I just thought about it. You were kind of going through that. That's funny, because I was kind of similar down that path. But as you turned that law into a lifelong of teaching in the career of sports, basketball mainly, where do you want this to take you career-wise, or what's the give back that you're, when it's all said and done?
I live a life of faith. And so I believe that where I will be where I'm supposed to be, when I'm supposed to be there. And with the purpose of making sure that this purpose that I've carved out for myself, or that God has carved out for me, that I am doing that work. And that work being, I don't know if it's going to be at Cleveland State. I don't know. It could be in Timbuktu, but wherever it is, it will be because I'm supposed to be there. And so I never thought in a million years that I would be, again, coaching. I mean, I taught World Lit. I've done other things. And so it always brings me back to this purpose of teaching and coaching young women, and having a positive effect on them, and understanding that we as a community, we as a group of elders, because we are elders, you being older than someone, that qualifies you as an elder. And so our purpose in all of this in our community is to make sure that we're taking care of and creating communities that are safe and that are positive for our young people. And, whether they're student athletes or students on campus or young people that we encounter in our greater community, then our job is certainly to make sure that we are taking care of those young people. So my ministry is not only just in basketball, but it is in any aspect that I come across our young people, and have an opportunity to share with them and to encourage them, because I think we've lost that as a community. The village has failed our children. And so It's up to us to make sure that we create a community, we create a village that will allow us to then, make positive impacts on these young people, because they deserve it. We created them, we need to take care of them.
Coach,
by the way, I didn't know if Val mentioned that, but your other educator is Mr. Wamble. He is in Chicago, South Side City, doing some magnificent things with high school. And by the way, Mike, I want to say hats off, congratulations. Val told me when you missed last week, you were there getting kids together for his Bigs and Bro. That was awesome, man. That was just awesome.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, it's been good. I mean, I do see that we have I do see that question. I want to give you two questions, Coach
Okay.
Thompson, as we wrap up.
Okay.
One of them is there in the chat. It is, what do you think of athletes who are also activists? And I want to give you opportunity to do to spin it positive, because before we brought you on, we were talking about Ja Morant and some of the
Right.
unfortunate things going on with him. But
Hmm.
I'm sure for every person like that, you likely see athletes that we should be looking at for either male or female in the game of basketball. People that we should be looking forward to, who are doing it the right way, setting themselves up as role models, and also shining there on and off the court. So I want to give you
Yeah.
opportunity to kind of share some of those names and people with us.
Well, I mean, absolutely. I mean, I think part of our problem is we've allowed these young people to kind of, move away from, because we haven't set the example. And I think that's the problem. People often ask me, what is the problem with today's children? Today's parents is the problem. And I think oftentimes we don't address that. We want to look at the end result. We want to look at
Hmm.
the problem, the end result, and we don't want to look at the process that got us to this point of our children being undisciplined, of our children being disrespectful, our children being not cared for and not loved, not understanding that idea of self-love and self-respect. Everything begins with that. And so whether we're talking about activism or whatever, I support anyone who is standing up for him or herself or other
Mhm.
people. Certainly, my athletes, when they come in here, they come in here with the understanding that we do think we advocate. My students here marching for Black Lives Matter. I wear my Black Lives Matter T-shirts to almost every single game. Anytime that there's an opportunity to be greater than self, is what we do. And so activism obviously is part of that. I'm on the executive board of the NAACP. I don't
Mm.
just talk about it, but I want my young women to see me involved in that kind of thing. I am on the diversity and inclusion committee. I am the chairperson for women's basketball here at our for our conference. So I do all of these things so that our young people don't just hear me talk about it, but they see me being about it.
There you
And
go.
everything that I do is in the hopes of making their lives easier. That's our jobs as elders. That's our job
Mhm.
as people in the community who are setting, my job is to make sure I keep the road clear. I need my women to understand what Title IX means for them, as Black women,
Right.
as white women, as women in general. I need the men who go to this school to understand what it means for them. I need them to understand what Title VI means and how it refers to them. Every
Hmm.
day we start our practices with a quote from some woman or some man who has something powerful to say towards the mission of activism. I think it's all of our responsibility. When you talked about the voters drive, every year when our
Mhm.
students get on this campus, I make sure that they're registered to vote.
There you
But not
go.
only do I want them to vote, I want them to have an informed vote. Not
That's
just to
not,
sit here and just go, because you got people out here voting for
You
Kanye.
know.
Listen, we don't need
right.
people out here voting for
Hmm.
Kanye.
Well, we voted for him too. We just voted to get him out of Chicago. That was all.
Oh, wait a minute.
So
Wait a minute,
That was a
coach.
successful
right,
campaign too.
right. So we need to make sure that our young people, we're educating them at every turn, because I'm trying to teach them a game of life, not just a game of basketball. And I'm trying to make sure that they have the skill sets when they walk away from me, that they're, not only empowered, but they're informed. And so to make sure that they're able to use that, however they need to use that, if not to activate or to advocate for a lot, they can advocate for a few. And if they can't advocate for a few, then they're going to advocate for themselves. And so that is my job, to build that reverse, whether you're for yourself, then for others. If it's not for others, then at least be able to do it for yourself. And so, and we do things like we march, we do a tremendous amount of community service work. We work
Mhm.
with Boys and Girls Club. We work with the Ronald McDonald House. I mean, you name it, we're out there trying to make sure that we're seeing and giving support to the community, because I want these women to understand it is not about you. And until we stop allowing them to be so selfish, then we will continue to get the result of selfish behavior and practices. And, but yeah, for those ones who are out there advocating, more power to you, because that's what it's all about. It's about the revolution, and the revolution begins with the way we think.
That's right. Well, I tell you what, it's been great. My cuz, my friend, I love you to death. You know that.
We don't get that. Jeez.
Time.
Oh, Tony.
Next thing you gotta send us. You know what? Forget Coach Tony. You gotta send us the pictures yourself.
Woo,
Thank you. I know I asked over and over again.
Hey.
I said, okay.
Hey, look, I'm fucking wrong.
One day I don't pull pictures. I'm sorry, Coach Townsend. One day I don't pull pictures. This is what happens.
Oh my goodness.
Listen, a boy to do a woman's job, I tell you.
Exactly.
Hey, you better keep advocating. You better keep advocating, Val. Keep advocating, Val.
Every time he's gonna leave the seat up. Every time.
Every time gonna be right. And then I'm like, what? I want to laugh with it now. What you talking about?
Ain't this true?
You don't want up in here. So, but hey, I'm gonna leave you with the last question of the night, and that is, with us for promotional purposes only. Who do you have cutting down those nets on the women's side, and who do you have cutting them down on the men's side?
First of all, you already know who's cutting down.
There's only one answer on the women's side.
One on the women's side. I know. Another.
She will be wearing her Gucci slides when she does it.
Yeah. No. Her Chanel. She probably gonna have them Chanel.
Oh, so Chanel's coming out. Okay.
I always have to promote and support, one, the SEC, and two, Black women. Do you understand that SEC has more Black women as head coaches than any other conference in the country?
Yes.
So we celebrate the diversity that's involved in the SEC. We celebrate, the success of, women like Kyra Elsie at Kentucky, and
my girl,
and Joni, who's at Texas A&M, and Dawn, who's at South Carolina, and Yo at Ole Miss. We're going to celebrate those women, and it's our job to make sure that we hold them up to be the queens that they are, and to celebrate the national championship. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's always going to be it's going to be South Carolina. And on the men's side, I don't really care, but if I have to choose somebody, I'm going to say Kansas.
Okay. I'm gonna wait till that, because I think Houston gonna sneak in here and surprise some folks.
No, not gonna happen. Houston's not gonna do
that.
No,
I'm telling you right now, and I've been good with mine, Mike.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I know who's watching us, and I'll say I did watch a Marquette game over the weekend. So
they're gonna be a sleeper.
All right, Mark. I see you, Mark. Yeah, I see Shaka do pretty well with his team. That was fine. I also watched the Big Ten beat up on themselves as usual.
Kind of like SEC football.
They'll get 8 teams in, and all of them will lose.
Like SEC football.
And football and basketball, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, he's taking each other up. So ain't that something? I tell you what, I can't wait to get back to her again. That just I'm gonna be in the same gym with her all the time.
Coach, we really appreciate you coming by, stopping by, talk on Tuesday.
Absolutely, I appreciate the opportunity here. Yes, I appreciate the opportunity. You guys were wonderful, such great hosts. Even Tony, you although you had all the information wrong. I mean,
that's right. He's promoting you. We putting it out into the universe.
Exactly.
Your team won a head coaching job. It's in the universe now.
But it's our job as women to correct you boys.
There you go.
And on that note,
I'm gonna go ahead and tip my hat. I ain't even got a hat on tonight. I'm start tipping.
All right, Coach Evelyn Thompson, thank you so much for joining us from Cleveland.
I appreciate it. It's been wonderful. Thank you.
All right.
I appreciate it. Go Cougars!
Hey. There you go.
Cougars. All right, there we go. You got that right.
Thank you so very much for always bringing us the best.
She's a blast. Man, I'm talking about, we like this all the time. I don't care about walking her gym or she in mine, or we just out and about. This is all the time. So
what's your word, Coach?
Hey, but my words, thank you guys. My main word is push the subscribe button right there if you haven't done it, so that you can make sure that you get Interludes Talk on Tuesday with Val the Voice, my man, Mr. Wamble, and then you are obviously going to get your boy, Coach Tony. But on that words, my best words, Peace. And
And
man.
he's out. All right, coach.
Okay.
It's okay to go a little over because we have a great
Is
guest, and
it?
I like, and I like,
Good.
and I like a coach
It
that can
should
check
be.
another coach, especially a woman.
Check. Not only is she checking, apparently she's broken his ankles a few times too. Somebody's probably got that on video. I got to
Oh,
see that. Let's get that next week.
that's gonna be too funny. Oh my gosh, that's gonna be wait. Oh, and what? Oh, I need you to sing the pot. Oh my gosh, I don't think
Oh,
that's
I
gonna
think that's on
happen.
me. That's me.
Oh, that's
That's
on
me.
you.
Yeah,
Oh,
because it's the
okay.
Pod TV Awards. The Pod TV Awards. It's awards for Pod TV. It's Pod TV Awards. Yeah, there we go. There we go. And then we'll do some discussion. I saw some other things pop up there. I'll talk to Coach Tony about it.
And
Uh,
tomorrow,
it's and tomorrow. There is a
we're gonna be chit
tomorrow.
chatting about.
Well, I mean, we do have an event. We talked about, a year ago what happened at that event, and that event's coming up this Sunday. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll get some closer looks at what's going to happen and what you should expect to see on Sunday or Monday on YouTube when you check out the Oscars or who won. I'm gonna break down what you should expect to see, so you know ahead of time. Sports is the only thing that people do for promotional purposes only. There's such thing as the Golden Derby and some other places where people make predictions on who gets what award and what. Mhm.
Right.
So
And we're
I may have some
celebrating
promotional purposes only things for you tomorrow.
Women's History Month, and
Look at that!
what the latest podcast that is out.
Everybody looks all
Tinted,
happy and
I know,
smiling.
tinted glass ceilings.
Yeah, you got it. Third time was a charm.
Third time's a charm. So that is the latest podcast that is available now, and I get a chance to
Ooh,
speak
she got
to
her own streak. Did you see that?
who got her own
This
street.
week, down in where is she from? I forgot where
Who?
she's. Florida, down in
Oh,
Dade County.
Katanji.
There's a judge, Justice Katanji Brown, drive.
Oh,
So she's got her own,
wonderful.
yeah. So shout out to her. And then we got former U.S. Senator Carol Mosley Braun, Ambassador Carol Mosley Braun gets the higher.
Mm-hmm.
She gets the higher title, of course, as ambassador. And then the president of the Vulcan Society, Miss Regina Wilson.
Thank you,
Wow,
Mark. Thank you, Mark. Oh,
yeah, look
we're
at it.
8 friends away from getting to 300. Wow.
Yeah, 300. That's when we get to throw people in the pit and start, rolling on them, right? I love 300. That was awesome.
Well, join us again
300.
next week for Interludes Extra Talk on Tuesday.
Yeah,
We'll
it's
be
gonna be
back.
Pie Day. We
It's-
coming back on Pie Day. All my math nerds know what I'm talking about. Next week is Pie Day.
We'll be back. We want to thank everyone
3.14.
for coming, and definitely go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are available on our Facebook group. Our Facebook group and our company homepage. And then also we're on LinkedIn. We saw some people tune in from LinkedIn too.
That's right,
And
they
we're
linked
also
in.
available. And we're also available on Pod TV Roku channel. So we'll have Michael sing the Pod
Yeah.
TV Awards.
Yeah,
You
we
wanna sing
want to
it?
get them Pie TV Awards. Pie
You'd like-
TV Awards. Now,
like
if I get it, what do we do? Do we have to like chop it up like in 3 or something?
I don't know how that's gonna.
I get it on the weekends. What we do?
I don't know. You know what will happen is that you will go ahead and have it, and I will take a picture of it, and then it will stay over here, or vice versa. You get the picture, and then and so what I was trying to say. Thank you, Kevin. This is what I'm trying to say as Michael tries to talk over me. What was that, Michael?
I said it's gonna have to make a trip down to Tennessee though.
Oh, it has to do the tour. So it goes
Yeah.
to you, goes to Tennessee.
It's
then
gonna
it
be on a
comes back
world
here.
tour like Muhammad, my man.
Hey.
Shout out to De La Soul. Rest in peace. Rest in power.
I know.
Boy, they screaming.
Make sure you cover that on that. And what's your name,
Yeah, I have
Mr.
to talk
What's
to-
your name,
I'll talk
Mr.
about De
Mr.
La
Wamble?
tomorrow. Well, my
Of
name
course.
is not Val the Voice, but yours is, and this has been Interludes Extra, Extra, Extra. We're going for an extra half hour today. All right. Interludes Extra Taco Tuesday with Val the Voice Johnson.
Thank you so much for joining us. Peace.